A man was stranded alone on an island. He didn't know how long he would survive. So he began doing what he could. He searched for food. He collected water. He gathered wood. Then he built himself a small shelter. Every day, he worked just to survive. But every night, he prayed the same prayer. God, please rescue me. He waited. One day passed. Then another. Then another. But nothing changed. No boat came. No one found him. And slowly, his faith turned into frustration. One evening he looked toward heaven and said, God, why? Why have you left me here? Why don't you answer my prayers? I've asked you again and again. But there was only silence. Then suddenly, his shelter caught fire. He ran toward it. But he couldn't stop it. The place he had worked so hard to build was burning. His food was gone. His belongings were gone. Everything he had was disappearing in front of him. He fell to the ground and cried, God, why are you doing this to me? He thought the fire was proof that God had abandoned him. That night, he had nothing left. But the next morning, he heard something. A boat. He looked toward the sea. A rescue boat was coming toward the island. He couldn't believe it. When the rescuers reached him, he asked, How did you find me? One of them pointed toward the remains of his burned shelter and said, We saw the smoke. He stood there speechless. The very thing he thought was evidence that God had abandoned him was actually the thing God used to bring his rescue. And sometimes we do the same thing. We look at our circumstances and say, God, where are you? We see the fire. We see the loss. We see the unanswered prayer. And we assume God isn't working. But the Bible says, we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. Faith doesn't mean you won't see the fire. Faith means you trust God even when you can't see what He's doing. Romans 8 verse 28 says, All things work together for good to them that love God. Joseph couldn't see God's plan when he was thrown into a pit. Job couldn't understand his suffering. And the disciples couldn't see God's purpose when Jesus was hanging on the cross. But God was working. Because God's silence is not God's absence. And what looks like the end to us may be something God is using for His purpose. So don't judge God's faithfulness by what you can see today. You may only see the fire. But God sees the whole story. And sometimes, the very thing you think God is using to destroy you may be the very thing He is using to lead you to Himself. Trust Him. Walk by faith, not by sight.